Hey, what's up? Last minute sports betting. There we go. We got the groove going. Last minute sports betting with the Sports Nuts. Bob and Mike here. Sign up and click the links below. Take advantage of the best books in your state. Don't forget about the OddsJam Partner Program. You want to be a partner with OddsJam, click the link below, share with your friends. Get 20% for all the revenue for those who sign up. Let me fade this out. Little chill music there to start off our evening last-minute sports betting show. And we are going to talk a little bit, Mike, about what has happened at the NHL trade deadline. That is big news for the day. It looks like the Anaheim Ducks have just dismantled their team. Looks like Gibson could be on the move too. Their goaltender that got rid of Lindholm, he went to the Bruins. Raquel just went to the Penguins. The Lightning are picking up people. The Blues made a trade to get a defenseman and got rid of Oscar Sundqvist. The Panthers with Claude Giroux coming to them, and the Capitals with Johansson coming back home to Washington. And you need to get on the internet. There are so many trades. It's ridiculous. What do you think, Mike? Any thoughts?
You know, the one that stands out to me, I think the Florida Panthers did a great job picking up Claude Giroux. They're looking to contend for a Stanley Cup this year, and I think they needed to make a move and add one more piece. I know their defense is not great, but Claude Giroux is a good two-way player, so that should help them a little bit in terms of some defensive issues they have had, and more importantly, it's a guy that has a lot of experience and I think is a really good piece for the Panthers, most importantly, to contend with Tampa Bay in that conference.
They also picked up two other forwards. They didn't pick up a defenseman. They did get Robert Hagg, a defenseman from the Sabres. What do you think's going on in Anaheim? I mean, they were like in second place in that division at one point in time. Since the All-Star break, they haven't played as well, but my goodness.
Well, it's obvious they think that they've got some young players on that team, and they are somewhat young, and I think they're just wanting to get some picks for what seems to be a deeper draft next year from what I'm hearing. So maybe that's somewhat of the strategy there. They've got some good young players that have already been playing good, so perhaps the strategy for them is let's get rid of guys we're probably not going to be able to re-sign and that are going to likely want to go somewhere else, and let's load up on this draft next year.
And let's talk about Marc-Andre Fleury going to the Minnesota Wild. Mike and I are Blues fans. It really doesn't concern me because the Blues have had Fleury's number for quite a while now.
No, but Minnesota was already a good team, and I think this was the one piece that they were missing. Was obviously a reliable goaltender. They have addressed that now. I think Fleury will be a good fit. He doesn't have to be as good as he was in Vegas, but he can be, I think, a difference maker for them going forward.
Well, they got rid of Kakkonen, the other goaltender, so he's going to have to be every bit as good. All right, let's move on to the NFL, Mike. Let's move on to the NFL. And let's talk about the Matt Ryan move. I was kind of shocked at this. I thought he was going to wind up staying in Atlanta, maybe retiring. This is pretty big news, isn't it?
I think it is. I mean, it's a guy that's spent all his career in Atlanta, went to a Super Bowl, and obviously has been, I think, somewhat of a fan favorite if you're a Falcons fan. For Indianapolis, very good move, Bob. I think this is an under-the-radar move, and we just saw the trend that I told you about a few weeks ago on the show is what? The NFL is a copycat and a piggyback league. People saw what the Rams did with Matthew Stafford and trading to get him, and Matthew Stafford was not a quote-unquote proven quarterback at the time. He was a guy that put up a lot of good numbers in Detroit, but never has won a big game. The Rams took a gamble on it. I think the Colts made a good move in picking up Matt Ryan. They've got the running game, obviously, and Jonathan Taylor. They've got a good defense. Good move by the Colts, Bob.
Okay. And I would definitely agree with you there. All right. So before we go any further, let's hit a little March Madness talk. We got our Sweet 16. I talked to Randall on the Rockin' Midday show. The St. Peter's team, Mike, I know that, they're probably not going to win another game. But I do like their grit and their toughness, and that little guard can draw fouls like crazy.
Absolutely. And I love this team 100%. And I think that their coach has done Holloway has done an absolutely stellar job for this team. And they play like he did whenever he played, and and they just mirror their head coach so well. And I think you'll see Holloway end up getting a job offering somewhere else because of the job he's done with the St. Peter's team. And also, don't sleep on them against Purdue. I understand this is unlikely to happen, but you've got to take this team seriously. I mean, Murray State was a high-powered offensive team. They looked okay against them. They beat Kentucky. I'm not sure that Kentucky was as good as we thought they were, but I will say this. They are going to make Purdue's life really difficult, and this game is going to be fairly close, I think.
Yeah, I'm sure you're probably right there. Is there anybody in this? Is anybody in danger? High seeds, for instance, is Duke in trouble? Is Arizona in trouble? Is Gonzaga in trouble?
Yes, you just named two teams that I'm going to point out. If you guys checked out my TikTok earlier, I gave a few teams that I think we need to look out for. Number one is Arkansas and Gonzaga. I'm not going to say Arkansas is going to beat Gonzaga straight up on the money line, all right? I will say this, 8.5. I mean, Memphis took Gonzaga down to the wire and gave them every bit of what they wanted. They were down 10 at half. So let's not act like Gonzaga just blew it out of the building. That first half happened and Memphis had their number. And unfortunately for Memphis, they just didn't have enough. Arkansas is a different team, and Arkansas is going to be a lot scrappier for Gonzaga defensively. Gonzaga likes to get out and run really fast. I think Arkansas can slow them down, and this game's going to be a lot closer than 8.5. The other team you got to watch out for, Arizona is in trouble. Big trouble. TCU likely should have won that game. There was a foul at the end of that game. You have to call it. I'm sorry. There was contact. You have to call that. I mean, Arizona almost got an easy dunk at the buzzer on a no call. And, the refs say, well, we don't want to get involved in the game. Well, you about screwed one team because you didn't want to make the right call. So you got yourselves involved. Make the call. Arizona had all they wanted.
If I said that, Steve would say I was whining and crying. You sound like you're whining and crying, Mike.
I'm not whining and crying. I'm saying Arizona is a three-man show, and that is it. Koloko and Mathurin are going to be their main two guys, and I don't believe that they're going to beat Houston. I think Houston has got the experience and the talent to do it, and when you look at what they did against Illinois, remember, Arizona and Illinois matched up earlier in this season, and it was a close game. Houston thumped Illinois. Houston's probably going to upset Arizona here, Bob. I hate to say it. Okay. That hurts me.
Okay. Let me just tell you something here. You guys want to refer back to games from December that have no bearing on how teams play in March. They are
okay, fair enough. But let's look at the most recent games they played.
They are completely different teams now. Illinois is terrible right now.
So let me ask you this, Bob. TCU and Houston. How good do you think TCU would match up to Houston?
how well would they match up with Houston?
Yeah.
I mean,
You'd probably take Houston to win that game, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Well,
Maybe.
Arizona was given absolutely everything they wanted, and honestly probably should have lost that game. They covered the spread though. That was a +9.5 spread. Who in their right mind thought Arizona was going to beat TCU by 10 points? Took them overtime, man, and they shouldn't even have gone there. Houston will upset Arizona.
Okay, and so is Kansas the only number one to make it to the Final Four?
I think Kansas is the only one that I'm really considering to be safe at this point. I do think Providence is a better team than what I thought, but ultimately Kansas is probably going to get the job done. And I think that the other game we didn't touch on, North Carolina and UCLA. Look, North Carolina about blew that game against Baylor, right?
Right.
Izzy's even letting you know. Izzy's
right.
even letting you know. So let me put it this way, Bob. Let me put it this way. They didn't lose that game, and everybody's going to think that they're going to get bounced by UCLA because they almost lost to Baylor, and they're going to upset UCLA.
All right, positive EV talk. Let's get to the positive EV. We were long-winded on this. Sorry, folks. We're going to get to what we're going to get to here. Let's talk.
Got to get it out.
Let's talk about some positive EV plays. I'll host the show. You just listen. All right. I made a positive EV play earlier that is going to be my lock. I will give you my lock right now. It is going to be the Boston game in the NHL under 6.5 goals. That was a positive EV play that I hit earlier. Let me go to the bet tracker. The Canadians and the Bruins under 6.5 goals. Got it for -118 on FanDuel a long time ago. That was my positive EV play from earlier. Mike, is there anything out there that you're thinking about hitting tonight? Because I know you went 1-1 in the positive EV last night.
Yeah, 1-1 last night, and the one that I did just hit just now. You know, I told you yesterday I didn't really like going with steals and blocks in terms of a player prop, but with this one, we're at Patrick Beverley. We're going to go over 1.5 steals and blocks. It's positive EV money, baby. It's a play that we have to hit. It's at -115 on Caesars right now, and I think that's one we've got to hit. The other one that I took, and I've got to see where it's at. Let me check my bet tracker real quick. The other one that I hit, we're going to go the first half total points on this OKC Boston game, and we're taking the over 103.5, -110 on that as well. Find that on DraftKings.
Okay, I didn't see that one yet. Let me find it.
Okay, and my last one, I got to get this one out.
Which one was that? Over 117.5, Charlotte and the Pelicans?
No, Oklahoma City and Boston, over 103.5.
Gotta find it. Keep talking.
Next one I'm going to give out, Bob, is this Tyrese Maxey over 3.5 rebounds. Got that at -110. You can snag that on FanDuel. So those are my three that I'm rolling with tonight.
Okay. All right. Let's look at the bet tracker. I just put in one bet. I couldn't find the rest of those. Here is the Patrick Beverley over 1.5. That is pending bet. As you can see, the bet tracker grades your bets. It's 100% free. You could see, here's one that was refunded. Here's one that was won. This was won. This was lost. And it grades it. And then you can find out, well, what's my profit? How much do I have in pending bets? What's my return on investment? The return on investment of completed bets, and my percentage of the closing line value, my bets, the percentage of bets I place. If I'm over 50%, I'm in great shape, and I'm at 60.2. So there you go. There's the bet tracker. Also, time, sportsbook, sport, and bet type. You can have a little chart there. It's great. It's 100% free. All right, Mike. So
yeah, you missed out on those two. I already took them. They're gone. They're not on the positive EV page, the two of the three. So if you do listen to this, get on it and place those bets.
Okay, Mike. So with all of this being said, and NHL is a big part of what I do, and it's a big part of you being a fan. Um, I don't know if there's any move that was made today that solidified anybody as far as making them Stanley Cup champion worthy.
Well, I think you have to look at a team that was already a Stanley Cup champion contender, and that's the Florida Panthers. And when you got a guy like Claude Giroux, there was talks that Colorado was going to go after him. If Colorado goes after him and gets him, that puts Colorado in even better shape than what they were in. So I think that's a move that the Panthers made that needed to be made, and I think that puts them in a lot better spot than what they were in. And I think Fleury going to Minnesota is a lot bigger than what you think.
Well, I'm going to tell you something about the Panthers. Okay, the Panthers can't keep the puck out of the net. That is gonna hurt them. At the same time, Colorado is who they are, and they're a good defensive team too. They're not just a scoring machine. So, in order for anybody to get through, by the way, the Avalanche got Andrew Cogliano from the Sharks. I don't know whether you knew that or not, but that is going to probably help them up front even more.
Oh, 100%.
Yes. I think the Raquel trade is really going to help the Penguins because I think he's a very, very good player. So there you go.
I agree.
There you go. That's last minute sports betting, folks. We're done. We'll be back tomorrow. You guys have a great night. Peace.